Hello, and welcome to the MMA Mic Drop Podcast. My name is Jade Bunky, and today's episode, I'm going to break down everything that's about to go down at UFC Qatar. Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker. And for a non-pay-per-view, this fight card is absolutely stacked. It features a potential title eliminator, particularly if Arman Tsarukyan wins. It also features a former world champ, along with a pretty elite talent in Ian Garry, and both of those fights could be featured on a pay-per-view. Maybe not as the main or co-main event, but definitely pay-per-view worthy fights. You also have some intriguing prospects on the prelims. So let's get right into it. I'm going to give this fight card an A-. And if we start breaking down Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker, here's what you're going to get. Arman Tsarukyan, he is 22-3. Dan Hooker, he is 24-12. As I mentioned, Arman Tsarukyan is ranked number 1 in the lightweight division, and if he wins, he probably will get a title shot next. Dan Hooker is having a late career surge. He is ranked number 6, and it's kind of interesting because Dan Hooker looked like he was left for dead. There was a time not too long ago in which he lost 4 out of 5 fights. But then you look at to whom he's lost. It was Poirier. It was Islam Makhachev. It was Arnold Allen and Mateus Gamrot. All top 10 fighters, and some of them top 3 fighters. And so there's no shame there, but he's rifled off some wins. And perhaps the most impressive win was the one against Jalen Turner. And I mention this because it really represents what Dan Hooker brings to the fight. He might be the toughest guy in the UFC. He fought through a broken cheekbone. I believe he had like a broken wrist or a broken arm as well. And he was able to somehow get it done and pull off the win. And what this tells me is Dan Hooker is never out of a fight. We know he has really good power. We've seen him finish people before. We've seen him finish high-level fighters as well. But at times he's also vulnerable. He is 35. He is a little bit slower. And this might be the problem when you go against someone like Arman Tsarukyan. Arman Tsarukyan is good everywhere. He has lightning fast speed. He has good power. He is, I believe he's won, I believe 4 in a row. He hasn't fought in a while, though. He is coming off a split decision win over Charles Oliveira. And many people thought Charles Oliveira won that fight. So I think the jury is still out on how good Arman Tsarukyan is in terms of how he would match up against Ilia Topuria. How good he is in terms of deserving of a title shot, that's a different story, and he definitely deserves a title shot if he gets a spectacular finish, or even if he just beats Dan Hooker in any way. The odds are pretty crazy. Tsarukyan is a -575. Hooker is a +425. You know, there is an age discrepancy. There is a speed discrepancy. Both have power, and the fight will be dangerous for Tsarukyan as long as the fight goes on, because it's against Dan freaking Hooker. With that said, I think Arman Tsarukyan is going to be too much for him, and I think he's going to start running downhill by the 3rd round. And despite how tough Dan Hooker is, I think Tsarukyan is going to put him out in the 4th round. Give me Tsarukyan by 4th round TKO. All right, before that, we have Belal Muhammad. The former champ takes on Ian Garry. A couple years ago, this would have been the battle of the cringe. These two are the most cringiest fighters in the UFC, but Belal Muhammad not so much anymore. He was cringe when he was always begging for a title shot. He got his title shot. He won. He stopped whining. So he is much less cringy now, but Ian Garry is, I think he will be, you know, the king of cringe for as long as he pursues MMA. Lacks authenticity, always wants to project a certain something about himself as opposed to being authentic, and I think that rubs a lot of fans the wrong way. But you cannot deny his fighting. This dude is, I think, an elite level athlete. I've watched him in person at UFC 298. He is extremely quick. I'd say he's the 2nd fastest guy in the division, probably behind Michael Venom Page. He's an incredibly clean striker. He blends his kicks and his punches together fluidly. He is good on the ground. He is good everywhere. He is currently ranked number 6. He should be ranked number 5 because Carlos Prates is ranked ahead of him at number 5, which makes no sense since he beat Carlos Prates. A lot of people see Ian Garry as a future champ. I do not, but I do see him as a legit top 5 contender, which means, given the right matchup, he might end up there anyways. But, I do think he has some limitations against the elite of the division, and there's only a couple of them. And one of those elite level athletes, or at least elite level fighters, was Belal Muhammad when he held the belt. He was on a ridiculous win streak. He has, he's an incredible wrestler, and he has really good strength. And it's funny because he looked like he kept getting better and better as he got older and older. And we saw that in the fight before last when he won the title against Leon Edwards. He manhandled Leon Edwards. He was bullying him. He was throwing him to the ground. He was in complete control, and that was incredibly impressive. So what's going to happen here? And let me bring up the odds. And I think Ian Garry is a minus 220. Let me just double check here. Ian Garry is a minus 270. Belal Muhammad is a plus 220. This is a compelling matchup. But I think Ian Garry is good enough on the ground, and he's going to be light years ahead of him in the feet. Belal Muhammad has some power. He has some power, and he does. He's not just strong. He has some power in his hands, but he doesn't throw enough combinations. He doesn't really time it correctly to really, except for that one against Sean Brady. But I think he's just going to be outmatched due to the speed. I think Ian Garry's going to light him up for about 2 rounds on the feet. I think Belal Muhammad is going to get him down at one point. And when he gets him down, I think he's going to keep him there. But I don't think he's going to finish him there. Give me Ian Garry by a really fun and a really entertaining decision win. All right. Before that, we are going to get Volkan Oezdemir versus Alonzo Menefield. And I forgot to tell you, I'm also going to tell you who has the best and worst nicknames on this card. And I'm going to tell you who is my sleeper underdog pick. And speaking of best nicknames, Alonzo Atomic Menefield. That is incredible because he has absolutely explosive hands. He is, let me check the odds, but he is an underdog. He is a plus 185 underdog. Volkan Oezdemir is a minus 225 favorite. And I think that line is correct, and I'll get into that in a minute. Let me break down Alonzo Menefield. He's a very limited fighter. He's a very limited striker, but what he does have is extraordinary power. He hits you once, he puts you out. The problem is he can be low volume at times, and he could be very wild. His technique is not very clean, and that opens him up for counters, which we saw what Carlos Ulberg did to him. But I'm less concerned about what Carlos Ulberg did to him than a fight against Ovince St. Preux a few years ago, where he couldn't, beat a washed fighter. I believe he has a loss to William Knight as well. Sometimes he can be really low volume, and he's just too one-dimensional. And when we look at Oezdemir, he is a striker too. He does have good power. He does not have as good a power as Menefield, but he could put you out at any time. And I think Menefield, let me look at this. I think he's like 38 years old, which when you're kind of a limited striker, 38, age does not portend well for you. Oezdemir, he's 36, so he's still an older fighter. But once you get past 35 and 36, you start falling off so quickly. And I just don't think Alonzo Menefield is the caliber of fighter that Oezdemir is, and I think he's going to get lit up. And give me Oezdemir by first round TKO. Their records are Oezdemir is 20-8, Alonzo Menefield is 17-5-1. And when I also said the worst nickname, it goes to Oezdemir, no time. I don't know. I think that's incredibly lame. Moving on, Jack Hermansson versus Orolbai. Now, this is a concerning fight. Jack Hermansson is moving down in weight at age, I believe he's 38. Let me just click on this and look. 37, which is problematic. He's moving down from middleweight to welterweight. That's a 15-pound cut at that age. for somebody who is already slowing, for somebody who showed some vulnerabilities in terms of the chin. But let me say this about Jack Hermansson. If you are to look up a word or a phrase in the dictionary, it's going to say crafty vet. This guy, he's a high IQ fighter who is incredibly crafty, who is an exceptional grappler, who is always dangerous. The problem is, I think it's going to be the weight cut, the age. You take those together against a younger, faster fighter in Orobai, I think that portends trouble as well. Give me Orobai by second round TKO. All right, next up is going to be my underdog lock of the pick. Sergey Spivak versus Shamil Gaviev. Gaviev, he is 14-1. Spivak is 17-6. And let me get the line for you. And let me get the line just for Hermansson. Hermansson, yeah, he's a plus 205 underdog. Orobai minus 250. And this one, Gaviev is a minus 142. Spivak is plus 120. And I don't get this line at all. Gaviev looked terrible against Rosenstrike. Absolutely horrible. He had no gas tank. He had no volume. And it's too bad. Gaviev is a pretty decent athlete. He has good power. That is his only loss. But he looked so horrible there. I can't move past that. Where Spivak has a lot of recent losses, but it's to higher level competitors. He has shown improvements. He is going to look to wrestle. And once, he gets his hands on you, he's a pretty solid grappler, and he has gotten better. And I think he's going to sub Gaviev. I think he's going to sub him in the second round. Give me second round sub Spivak. All right, before that, we're going to get Asu Almabayev versus Alex Perez. Almabayev is the minus 205 favorite. Perez plus 170. And again, this shows you how good this fight card is. Almabayev, I mean, he is a good fighter. He is, he's a wrestler, and he has nonstop energy. If he gets you down, you get up. He's going to throw you back down. He is 22-3. Perez is 22-9. Perez has been around for a while. He's taken a lot of damage. He's had a lot of injuries, and he's had a lot of losses. And I'm looking at this right now. He's lost 4 out of his last 5. But when you look at to whom he's lost, it's Tyra, Mokaev, Pantoja, Figueiredo. I mean, two of those guys are champs. 2 of them has the potential to be foreign champs. Granted, Mokaev may never have an opportunity to be a champ in the UFC again, for burning bridges. But that just goes to show you the quality. But I think Almabayev is going to be relentless. I think he's going to be too much for it. Give me Almabayev by a completely dominant decision. All right, next up we have Bogdan Grad versus Luke Riley. Luke Riley, 11-0. Bogdan Grad, 15-3. Bogdan Grad, he's a pressure striker. He's going to come forward. He's going to bring the fight to you. And you know what? So will Luke Riley. I think Luke Riley is a cleaner striker. He's the better prospect. He is the younger guy. He is, I believe he's a teammate of Paddy Pimblett. And let me just check the odds right here. I think... Luke Riley's a minus 270. Bogdan Grad is a plus 220. And Luke Riley's going to be too much for him. Give me Luke Riley by second round TKO. All right, before that, we're going to get Rafael Sakura versus Abdul Rahman Yakiev. For some reason, the odds is not showing, but that's right. Yakiev is like a minus 1,000, I believe, and he's going to absolutely smash Sakura. Sakura's 11-3. He's not that good. He's 0-3 in the UFC. He started as a undefeated prospect. He's lost, and his last loss, I believe, is knocked out by Modestas Bukauskas. Modestas Bukauskas is actually pretty good. He's a decent, average, maybe slightly above average fighter in the UFC. But he just he handled Sakura pretty easily. Yakiev is 7-0. He's looked good so far. I think he is going to knock. He's going to knock Sakura into tomorrow. Give me Yakiev by first round knockout. Before that, this is an exceptional fight. This might be the best fight on the card after the main event and the co-main event. Tagir Ulanbekov versus Horiguchi. Horiguchi, so he used to be a pretty elite level fighter in the UFC. He is 34-5, and wait till I tell you against whom he's lost. Those 5 losses will make a lot of sense. Ulanbekov, 17-2. So Horiguchi, I believe he was 8-1 when he was in the UFC. He was cut for some reason off a winning streak. His only loss was to Demetrius Johnson in the UFC. And then he's had regional success after that. I mean, I'm just going to bring up his losses. And he hasn't lost in a while. You know, but he is riding a 5-fight winning streak. But it was to Sergio Pettis, Kai Asakura, who he later knocked out Kai Asakura in the fight after that, and Patchy Mix. All good fighters on the regional scene, even though we've seen Patchy Mix isn't who we thought he was. But, I mean, it's, you know, for a loss on the regional scene, that's not that bad at all. Ulanbekov, you know, let me just see. He's on a win streak as well. 1, 2. Okay, so he's on a 4-fight winning streak. He's looking good as well. Let me bring up the odds because I think the odds are off. I remember I told you I had an underdog pick, which was Spivak. This will be my second underdog pick, and I'm pretty confident about this. Ulanbekov is a -205 favorite. Horiguchi is a +170. I'm taking Horiguchi. I mean, he's fought the better talent. He's beat the better talent. And even though he has a couple losses and he is getting up there, he is 35 years old. Ulanbekov is 34 years old. And so I don't think the age is going to be much of a difference here. I'm taking Horiguchi by decision. And next up, we have Alexander Topuria versus Beckham Amakan. Now, okay, Topuria is a -112 favorite. It's pretty much a pick-em. Amakan is a -108 favorite. They're both pretty well-rounded. They both have power. They're both, you know, pretty decent athletes. Now, Topuria, we all know he's the brother of Ilia Topuria, who I still consider, despite what Islam did to JDM, is still the best all-around pound fighter in the world. This fight should be pretty explosive. Let me just look at something right here. Topuria, yeah, he's 6-1. Amakan, he's 12-2. And when he came into the UFC, he's 1-2 in the UFC. But the person against whom they matched him right away was Umar Nurmagomedov, who is, I consider, the most talented bantamweight in the world. And he lost to him. And I'm trying to bring up. I'm drawing a blank against whom he just defeated. Oh, here we go. Okay. Yeah, it's not that he just defeated Brad Katona. He knocked him out. And, you know, one of his only two losses was Nurmagomedov, and then you have to go all the way back to 2020. I can't even pronounce this dude's name. But I think this will be a back-and-forth fight, and I am going to take Amakan by a very fun decision. Before that, we have Ryan Loder versus Nuradiev. Nuradiev is 24-8. Ryan Loder is 7-2. Nuradiev, he's a very good striker. He's has a pretty good clinch game. He's going to be much more athletic than Ryan Loder, who is more of a wrestler, a little more one-dimensional. Let me get the odds for you on this one. Let me just scroll down here. Oops, I'm going the wrong way. Okay. I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. Okay, so Nuradiev is a -130 favorite. Ryan Loder +110. I would actually, I would actually probably have that line a little bit wider. I think Nuradiev is going to finish him. Give me Nuradiev by second round TKO. And we'll go through these other ones pretty quickly. We have Shem Rock. What a cool name that is. Against Nurullo Naliev. Naliev is -278 favorite. Shamrock is +225. Let me just bring this back up. Now, Aliev is an undefeated fighter. He is 10-0. Shamrock is 11-1. I'm going with the undefeated fighter. I think Aliev is going to finish this fight in the first round. Give me Aliev by first round knockout. Before that, we have Nicholas Dalby against somebody who I cannot pronounce his last name, but I think his first name you say Saeed. He is 22-2. He, he's a submission artist. I believe, let me see. He has 13 subs on his record. He is a promising prospect. And Dalby has had a great late career resurgence. He's tough as nails. He has really good cardio. He throws incredible volume, but he is, I believe, 39 or 40 years old. And let me just look to see exactly how old he is. And it looks like everything's going a little slowly here, but he is not coming off. Yeah, he's 41. I didn't realize he was 41. He's coming off back-to-back losses, but they're to good people. His last win was in 2023, but it was against Gabriel Bonfim, the only person to defeat him. And, he is relentless. And yeah, before that, he was on a 1, 2, 3, 4, only 4. Okay. 4-fight winning streak. But the age is going to catch up to him. He is just going to get, I think, absolutely destroyed here. I think give me Saeed, and I'm probably saying his name incorrectly, by first round submission late in the first round. And opening the card is Marek Bujio versus Denzel Freeman. Bujio 6-0, Freeman 6-1. Bujio is more of a wrestler. Freeman is a little more well-rounded, has better striking. He's going to light him up on the feet. He's going to get this done in the first round. And so it'll be a first-round knockout. Let me just get the odds on these last two fights. Dalby, plus 180. Saeed, minus 355. And then this fight, Freeman, minus 198. That's all I have. Stick around next week. We might have a special guest by the name of MMA Milo. He may come to explain why he got fired from the show. Stay tuned. See you then. Thank you so much. Oh, and like and subscribe. Thank you.